What's up, guys? This is going to be the first video covering UFC on ESPN 7 coming up on the 7th of December. Big main event between Alistair Overeem and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. This card is being overlooked because of the 245 pay-per-view coming up with those 3 title fights, but definitely some good ones on here, guys. I will be dropping a video covering the main event over the next couple days, as well as that strategies video. It's the best one I've done yet. A lot of valuable information, so look out for those. They will be coming out, like I said, over the next couple days, probably by the weekend. Both of those will be out. But in this video, we will be talking about Stefan Struve and Ben Rothwell. Interesting fight here, guys. We'll talk about possible bet opportunity, how the line looks, things like that. I want to start out talking about Struve. He's been around forever. Nicknames the skyscraper, definitely lives up to that. They have him listed here as 7 foot. I think UFC has him listed at 6'9", but either way, the tallest fighter to ever fight in the UFC. The only real issue with that, guys, that I want to talk about is he doesn't really use that size to his advantage nearly as much as he should. But I will say, as a big plus for him, most guys that are really big, a lot of heavyweights are not great on the ground. Once you get a guy that size down on his back, for the most part, it's going to be a wrap, right? Now, we do have guys like, Fabricio Verdum and a lot of really good heavyweight grapplers, don't get me wrong. But for a guy the size of Struve, it's surprising, how well he can do, especially off of his back. We've seen him rocked a lot of times, taken down as of late. In his last fight, and I really want to talk about this, I did pick him to win, which I hadn't a lot as of late, but his opponent was 6 foot. He had a big reach and height advantage. I definitely thought he'd be able to use his size and get that win pretty easily. Now, the guy's name was Lima. I can't remember his first name, but he came out within the first 10 seconds and rocked Struve with a big shot, put Struve down, and those ground skills did save him. Struve, he was off his back, holding De Lima close and was able to recover and get back up. So again, that did save him, that ground technique that he has. But he was taken down a lot throughout that fight. He looked really slow. So definitely not in his prime, even though he's at that age, 30 to 32 anyway. For a lot of fighters can be their prime before they taper off. But in this case, I didn't really love that performance at all. He did pick up the win, though, at home, and then left his gloves in the octagon, if I remember correctly, and retired. This wasn't too long ago. I did watch that fight again, and, I wasn't overly impressed with Struve. If you watch his most recent fight, if you have Fight Pass, you'll see that he was put down, like I said, within the first 10 seconds. That's never good to see by a guy who is a foot shorter than him with a lot, less reach, and was taken down numerous times. Now, it was really nice that he was able to pull off that submission. I think it was late in the second round, maybe in the third, but he did get that arm triangle submission off a nice reversal, actually. So he was on his back, was taken down, and then got that nice reversal. So it was a perfect time, in my opinion, for him to ride off into the sunset. But, if a lot of fighters get that urge after they pick up a win, they want that feeling, that rush, walking down to the cage at home again, and, maybe want to go out on the shield at times. So that might even be the case in this fight, guys, because Ben Rothwell, coming off of 3 decisions, one of them to Junior Dos Santos, another one to Arlovsky, and then the last he was robbed. I can't remember in the fight that he was robbed who it was, but he fought some really good boxers as of late, would have been training his stand-up. So the path to victory, in my opinion, for Struve would be for him to get a body lock against the cage, something like that, trip Rothwell, get him down, and get on top. When you have a guy the size of Struve on top of you, it's really hard to do anything, to be honest, especially when he's as skilled as he is. So that could make for a bad night for Rothwell if Struve's able to do that. Now, on the other hand, Ben Rothwell is going to be pressing the action. He's a ferocious fighter. A little bit different, in his last couple fights. He was still pressing the action, though, against Arlovsky, even when he was getting tagged. He is a type of fighter. He will give one to take one, and I don't know at this point in Struve's career if he's able to take one. His chin is questionable, in my opinion. I would never put a bet on Struve right now, no matter who he was fighting in the heavyweight division of the UFC. Would not be a smart bet, in my opinion. Now, where the odds are here, guys, they're pretty close to accurate, in my opinion. I did think Ben Rothwell might be closer to 1.50, but he's only up really, on some sites as low as 1.6. So not a whole lot of advantage over the bookie in this one. And anybody who's watched my previous, videos knows I want that advantage before I'll pull the trigger. It is the way to make money long term. Something else we'll be talking about in that video coming out. But, in this fight, guys, with Rothwell sitting at 1.73 on some sites, I do expect that might decline, but I'm going to wait a couple days. I don't think that it's necessarily a value bet right now at 1.7. If we would have seen Rothwell at 1.9 to 2, I would have said pull the trigger. And anybody who has, I'm not mad at that. I do strongly lean towards Rothwell. That said, at any point, guys, I should say heavyweight fights have a good likelihood to be a sweat bet regardless, right? Any shot can put down a fighter and change the night at any time. So most times we're going to get a sweat bet at a heavyweights. But at the same time, especially when you're up a good bit on your bankroll, when you see fights that you have a strong lean and the odds are at a point, where you're close to even money and you can almost double that investment you put in on a fighter, it is tempting and you don't want to see those opportunities pass you, right? So this is what I'm looking at. I will be dropping a lot more videos in the upcoming week. So there'll be, plenty of opportunity to let you guys know if I did pull the trigger. Now, if you see it hit 1.9, I will have put in a bet. But I think by the time I drop that first, pre-weigh-in breakdown video for the entire card, I'll have, been able to tell you guys if I bet or not, because I don't think I'll be waiting much past that point. So, Rothwell is a possible option. I do think at this point his chin is a lot stronger than Struve's. He's definitely, not on his way up. Neither of these two, is on their way up in their career. They're both on the decline. So there's no advantage there as far as, who's better off in their career. I do think they're both at a point now where hanging it up would be viable. But, Rothwell still has that grit in him. He still comes to win and, comes to fight. So I don't know if I should say that much for Struve. It does look like he was on his way out. Like after that last fight, he said some things. That speech does question me, have me questioning him coming back. So one of those ones that you got to be really careful on if you're liking Struve as a dog, because of the fact his chin is possibly in trouble in this fight, as well as, a lot of other factors. But his path to victory is definitely locking up Rothwell, taking him down, and getting a win on top. Of course, any shot, like I said, can change the day. But again, I really like Rothwell in this spot. So keep an eye on those odds, guys. If anybody did take a shot at 1.7, I'm not really mad at that. Me, myself, I really like that advantage. So I'm going to hold out a little bit. But I don't necessarily anticipate the odds improving for Rothwell. So pulling at the trigger at 1.75 range might be the only option. Okay, so we will talk about that, like I said, in the upcoming breakdown videos. And I will be talking about the main event over the next couple of days, like I said. So look out for those videos, guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. The channel is growing, so I do appreciate everybody for doing that. Let me know who you guys have in this fight. I am interested to hear, who people are picking, because, there probably will be some Struve supporters, and I kind of want to see, the way they see him taking the fight. So if you are picking Struve especially, let me know about it. If you have placed a bet or are going to be placing a bet, let me know about that as well and what the price you got them at. And that's about it, guys. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.